Welcome to Realtors Unfiltered, where we pull back the curtain on the world of real estate. No fluff, no filters, just real stories, real advice, and the realities of buying, selling, and everything in between. This is your host, Enas. Whether you're a client looking for your dream home or an agent seeking inspiration and insight, you've come to the right place. Let's get started. To Realtors Unfiltered. I'm your host, Enas, and today we are diving into something that sounds fancy, but it's actually super practical: white glove service. Now, before you roll your eyes, I'm not talking about luxury for luxury's sake. I'm talking about real service, the kind that makes people feel like they're your only client, even when you've got about 15 deals in the pipeline and your phone is blowing up all day long. Let's be real. In today's market, everybody knows someone with a real estate license. So how do you stand out? How do you make sure your name is the one they say when their best friend or cousin is ready to buy or sell? White glove service isn't about being over the top. It's about being intentional. It's about creating a seamless, elevated experience that anticipates your client's needs before even they ask. Let me give you an example. I had this couple last year, super sweet, first-time home buyers, total type A personality. I knew right away that what would help them wasn't just information, it was clarity. So I created a simple roadmap for them for their own buying journey. It laid out what happens, what they need to prep for, and even what to expect emotionally, as it could be an emotional roller coaster for buyers in this market. And get this, they actually printed it out and they stuck it on their fridge and they were referring to it the whole time we were going through the process. And since then, they have referred me over 3 clients of their own friends. It wasn't the roadmap that made them do that and refer people to me and feel comfortable with a transaction. It really was how it made them feel. They felt taken care of, seen, respected, and heard. White glove is also the little touches that we do. Handwritten note after showings or potentially after a listing appointment, sending over a list of, depending on their interest, obviously, maybe dog-friendly coffee shops or dog parks if they have pets. If they have children, a list of what's going on for kids, potentially free things going on in the area, and helping them with different things like organizing their move or setting up a cleaning service for them before they moved in, especially, for people who are parents and work full-time jobs and they have to close on a house and buy another house all at the same time. Just being involved in the whole process and helping them make it as seamless as possible. It's really not about spending more money either. It's about thinking more deeply about what your client might need and what they might value and what's helpful to them in that moment. Let's not forget, this is how you build a referral machine. Over 65% of our business, my team and I, comes from referrals and repeat business. That's when, because people feel taken care of, they want to talk about you. And when you pair that level of service with actual results, you become unforgettable. So digging into the heart of it all, trust, because service without trust, that's just fluff. Let's get into it. So let's talk about the big T, trust. Look, people don't hire you because you're charming. That might work just to build the initial liking, but they hire you because they trust you. They trust that you'll get it done. They trust you that you won't ghost them when things get tough. They trust that you'll tell them the truth, even when it's not what they want to hear. I always tell people I'm not here to sugarcoat things for you. I'm here to tell you exactly my honest, professional opinion and help guide you through the process. And people really appreciate that, even as hard as it could be sometimes when someone might feel that their home is worth more than what it's really saleable for, or when someone doesn't realize that there may be a little smell in their home, or there may be some cleaning that they need to do to appeal to the larger number of buyers in the market. And in today's market, where clients can Google everything and find 47 agents in like 5 minutes or 5 seconds even, trust is your only real differentiator. So how do you build it? Let's break it down. Clarity over charm. Be clear, upfront, and honest from the start. That means setting expectations early and repeating them during the process. I always tell my clients the process isn't always smooth, and it's really not. But I will walk you through it with full transparency. If something is off, I'll say it. If I need more time, I'll tell you, and you'll never be left guessing. And that gives people a lot of comfort, and it really reduces their anxiety about the whole process. That alone calms people down in a way that helps them stay focused on their goal and also more receptive to you and to your advice while you're guiding them through it. The second thing is consistency. Trust isn't built in the big, flashy moments. It's really built in the follow-ups, the return phone calls, the little texts that say, potentially, there's nothing new, but I wanted to keep you in the loop or keep you updated. You think they don't notice these things, but they do. So consistency truly, truly builds confidence, and with confidence leads to loyalty. So when you're consistent, it builds that confidence with your client, which makes them super loyal to you. The other thing I really believe has a huge impact here is being vulnerable. I don't mean, of course, crying in the car, although I have cried in the car many times. I have even teared up sometimes when people shared their stories about why they need to sell, or, if they're selling their home and they raise their family there, and all the memories that they had, or if they're forced to move to another area after they had perfected their home and made friends and loved their neighborhood. That's okay too. But I do mean, if the market shifts, we should say it. If we don't have an answer, it's okay to say, let me find out, and actually find out and get back to your people. If a client's expectations are off, say, I totally hear you. They have to feel understood and heard. But here's what I'm seeing right now in this market, and this is my advice. Here's my professional, experienced advice. And people want to hear it. They didn't hire you just so you can take their orders. They hired you because they want you to guide them. So on that note, I can tell you that recently I had a seller who really wanted to list much higher than I initially advised them. I did go through the whole process of showing them the comps, reviewing the data, and still they were not willing to list at the price that I recommended. I feel like maybe they felt it was a little risky, that they may not sell where they need to sell, and so forth. But I had to be honest with them, because I knew that if they listed at the price that they wanted, they were going to be overpriced for that market in the buyer's eyes, and potentially receive no offers or fewer offers than if they listed at the price that I advised them on. So I had an honest conversation with them, and I said, look, I know your home means the world to you. I see its value too, especially with all the updates that you made and how you decorate it, how you keep it beautifully cleaned. But my job is to get you sold, not just listed, and to get you sold for the most money possible. So if we overprice, we might lose the very buyer we want. I promise to fight for every dollar, but I need you to trust to position this right. And honestly, after they hemmed and hawed a little bit, they thought about it. I wasn't pushy about it. I gave them time to think about it. I re-provided the data, revisited that information with them, and told them, just trust me on this. However, I respect your decision regardless. And after I had the honest talk with them, they listened, and we priced it where it needs to be at a very competitive price, received multiple offers. And after that, we sold it for probably higher than what we would have sold it for if we listed at the price they wanted. So why did they decide to listen to my advice? It's because they felt heard and led. And that's what people really want. People trust when they feel like you're working with them, not just for them. Because as realtors, we are advisors. We're not order takers. We're not really just, putting houses on the market and showing houses to buyers. We're advising our clients throughout the whole process. And that's really important to remember. We're going to bring it all together with some actionable tips on how to up-level your client's experience this week without needing to completely change your whole business. So I will share with you some of my tips on that. Since you made it this far with me, let's bring it home. Let's talk about how you can actually implement this in your own business this week. I call this my client's experience mini book or playbook. So the 5 simple, most impactful ways to start showing up differently. Number 1 is create a simple welcome kit. So I have a folder that I share with every buyer and every seller that has a lot of good information that they're going to use during the process. So it's not a lot of blah, blah, sales stuff. So some of the things I share with in there, of course, it's branded to me and my team. I give them a little intro about us, but I give them also a little intro to what to expect step by step. I have a sheet for a buyer with a guide, and I have a sheet for a seller with a guide. Our sheet for the buyer with a guide has everything from the time that we're meeting for a consult all the way till they find a home and what happens from there all the way to close and how I will be showing up for them before, during, and after. And it not only organizes them, but it also shows you or shows them how you are organized. And that really does set the tone. If people know what to expect, they're going to follow your guidance throughout the process. The other thing that I do is weekly check-in. I always have a day in the week that I pick. It's always the same day because people get used to it and they almost expect it, and they're glad to hear from you when they do hear from you on that day. So you could choose Tuesdays or you could choose Fridays and make it your check-in day. And I'm not talking about just the, potentially leads that you're following up on or whatever. No, that's designated check-in for current clients, like your current buyers, your current sellers, whether they're active buyers, active sellers, or under contract. Check in every week, give them an update of what is going on, what's the latest with an attorney, what's the latest with a home inspection. If there's nothing to report, that's okay too. You don't have to have something to report. You could just check in and see if potentially they have a question. You know what? When you get them used to you checking in every week, they're not going to call you 7 days a week. They're going to wait if they have a question or concern or something they want to talk to you about, they're not sure about. They're going to wait till you call them on that day and ask you those questions. So you're more in control of your schedule, but you're always providing that service to your client as well. So some of the things I say to them, if I don't have nothing to report, hey, no big changes. I'm just staying on top of whatever it is I'm staying on top of. And I wanted to wish you a happy weekend. Do you have any questions? Do you have any concerns? Do you need any help with anything? And often that's an opportunity for me too to provide them with services and contacts that of people that they might need during this process as well. That kind of touch really builds massive trust throughout the transaction, and that's what makes them not forget you and want to always recommend you. Number 3 is I always keep a note, good notes actually, on every client on their favorite things. Do they have pets? Do they like coffee? What restaurants they like to go to? What do they like to do on the weekend? Are they travelers? Are they more of stay home and do staycations potentially? And with that, at closing, I do a personalized gift. I don't have the same closing gift for every client. Not everybody's the same. Not everybody's lifestyle is the same. And when it's personalized based on what they like and don't like, it makes them, again, feel heard and that you were listening to them and paying attention to them this whole time. It makes you feel more like a friend to them, potentially like family to them, versus just a transactional agent. I even remember some of these things potentially put date reminders for things like their anniversary, or if they told me they're going on a trip, I put a reminder to check in after their trip to see how it went, to allow them an opportunity to talk to me about it. Number 4 is I have a go-to vendor list. I call it my key partners because they're really my partners in so many ways. When our vendors are providing good service to our clients and making their transaction a lot smoother, making their move a lot smoother, if they want to do work on the house after the move or get it cleaned or whatever, they're making that process for my client go a lot smoother. They're trusted by me, trusted by past clients that use them. And I know they're taking care of my clients. And I could check in when they're using some of our vendors. Because if they asked me for, say, a contractor, I could check in. And that gives me a way to also stay in touch with my people and say, hey, how's Mike or John doing for you? How did the project come along? So I call them my key partner list. And I provide it to every client that we have. I even have it on our website, by the way, just so if a client wants to access it themselves, they could do that too. And number 5 is celebrate smart. Doing something meaningful. I think I mentioned that earlier. Family with a little kid or few kids. I can share with you, like I knew that this one family, they loved movie nights on Fridays. That's what they did. They didn't go to the movies with the kids. It was too difficult and potentially too expensive nowadays. So I knew they loved movie nights at home. I made sure I let them know ahead of time that I'm sending them pizza on a Friday night. And I had a basket of popcorn, snacks, with a little note that said, enjoy your first night in your new home. After I knew that they had moved in the new house and that was going to be their first Friday night movie night with the kids. It really didn't cost me much. The basket was about $30 and the pizza was about the same. But that was the closing gift to that client. And to them, it felt like the world to them because, again, like this is what they love to do. I was a part of it somehow. I listened to them and I remembered it and I made it special on the first time in their new home. And truly, since then, they've referred me multiple people, and I'm currently working with them in their move-up situation. So they are selling the first home that I sold them and looking to purchase their new one. So that's how you build repeat business, and that's how you build referrals. So let's wrap it up. In summary, clients might choose you for your knowledge, and that's of course, very important. Your knowledge, your experience. But they remember you for how you made them feel. And that's human nature. People may forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Same thing in real estate. In real estate, actually, that is everything. You don't need to be perfect. God knows I'm not. You just simply need to be present. You don't need to wow with big gestures, expensive gifts, or anything like that. You need to care consistently, clearly, and confidently. If this episode spoke to you, do me a favor, send it to a teammate, a new agent, or even a client who's wondering how this whole process should feel. And if you're in Buffalo or Tampa market or anywhere else and want to work with someone who blends strategy with heart, you know where to find me. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll catch you next week on Realtors Unfiltered, where the hustle is real and the stories are even better. Thanks for listening to Realtors Unfiltered, where real estate meets reality. If you're ready to buy, sell, or explore joining our team, visit us at enaslatifsalesteam.com. Until next time, keep it real.